Hello, everybody. So today I'm going to be building a social media kind of share to Twitter um, machine, if you want to put it like that. The way it works is basically I have an RSS feed here. So it can be done for basically any social media feed. You just need to get the RSS feed for it. So this is for my podcast that I have on Spotify Podcasters. And basically the way it works is it'll take the podcast item. It'll then put it into a shorts.io to shorten the link because well, this is going to Twitter and Twitter has a 280 cap on characters. So it shortens the URL and it also puts a nice little spin on it for my domain. So it looks very nice. And then basically it'll search through folders on my Google Drive. It'll look through the folders. It'll get the content of a document because I had the documents already laid out in this one of what it's about, the transcription, kind of like the summary. And then it'll run through that. It'll run through an iterator, go through this, and then hit an OpenAI, and then it'll get posted on Twitter. It's a bit of a it's a bit of a build. It'll take a little bit to build out, so let's get right into it, I guess. I have all the tools here, and what I'm going to do is I think I'm actually just going to test it just to show you guys first. I'm going to unlink it because I don't want it to post something that is already there. So if I choose where to start and then select RSS item, I can use getting bored of web dev. So what's going to happen is when I hit getting bored of web dev, it'll take the RSS item, which was short.io, search through all the Google Drive. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so it's just doing it all automatically. And then what's going to happen is it's going to come through. And if you look over here, the result has been running a web dev agency for the past 6 to 8 months, lead generation, yada yada. Realize I'm not challenged anymore by the work, time for a business change. I'm moving towards automation, high-end coding. Learned a lot, but I'm ready for a new change. Don't ever stop. Catch my thoughts here. And there's the podcast link. And if I take said link, what's very cool is the URL is podcast.leobject.com. Whoa. And if I drop it in, it'll bring me over to a podcast and you can listen to it here. You can do it with basically anything, and it's a bit of personal branding, which is cool, very very cool. So I'm going to get building this now. I'm going to build it in kind of the same section because it is a slightly longer automation. So let's get right into it. So the first thing you're going to need is an RSS feed. So it's this. So it'll be watching for RSS items. So every time an item is posted onto your said feed, it'll automatically update the what's the word? Update the webhook. So it'll send a signal to the RSS feed just updating it. And you can set the maximum amount of returned items. And for this one, I need the URL. So if I come to podcasters for Spotify, this is just for me. Just 2 seconds. And I come into settings from what I can remember. Ooh, don't do this to me. Yes, okay. Oh my God. I was like, geez. That's the URLs. Yes. No. Oh my God. I'm losing my mind here. Oh, availability. So you come to settings, availability, and this is your RSS distribution feed. That is a tough word to say. And basically, you'll take this and you'll plop it into here. So that's the RSS feed. If you want to do this for other social media channels, what I'd recommend is you come to an RSS, uh, I think it's link generator. So as long as it's public and you don't need to log in to get to it, you can use this is like the number one RSS app, right? And you just pop in here and then you can generate your RSS feeds. And then whatever you generate, you can just pop into this here. And then whenever it updates, it'll send. So you can do it for Twitter. You'll be able to do it for, what are a few other ones? Just websites, blogs in general. So podcast is one of them. So look, YouTube is the other. And it's very effective, very, very effective. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to be using a short.io. So this is how what's the word? This is how I turned the URL into one that is personal kind of branding in a sense. So if I do short.io and I do create a link for your branded domain, update link, make it, find a link, list of domains, create a link. Perfect. So what's going to happen is, so this is short.io here. I just have it open, just give it a second to load. And ooh, okay, it's asking me for a password. Whoa. Or maybe single sign-on works. Who knows? I usually try and avoid single sign-on. I don't know why. I just feel like they're gonna like take all my information like existing. But basically you'll come here and so like I have a YouTube one here and you can see the link. So you come here and you go to see all domains and then you search by domain name. You can turn no. You can change and then manage its settings, all domains, podcast.liam. Other domain, sorry. Oh, I'm losing my mind here. You go here, you go add my own domain, enter domain, so my own's liamyak.com. And then this is a domain I already use. And then you add a domain and you go custom domain, sorry. And then let's say you want podcast, you just go podcast.liamyak.com. Very simple. And you just add the domain. So I'm going to go back because I don't want to add another one. And then from here, what you need to do is you need to, once this is added, you come to shorts in the corner. You go to integrations and API. I'm trying to figure this out a little bit on the fly here, but I remember building it, so we don't go too wrong. Not yet, anyways. You go to integrations. I don't know if we'll sometimes. So podcast and so what you want to do is you want to create an API key, key descriptions. You don't want to make it public, so it's key descriptions, yada yada. Select domain, and then you pick one of the domains that you've created, and then you just put it here. Very simple, very easy. And then what happens is when you create it, you'll be given an API key. So this is like my API key. You can't see it anymore. And then from there, geez, this is like a whole process. And then from there, you come back here, you come to add, and you drop the API key in here. You name the short connection something you can remember because, yeah, you don't want to forget it. And then from here, you then add it, and then voila. Then you'll have your URL shortener. And then you go to domain, YouTube, podcast. I'm going to go podcast first. And then the original URL you want to shorten I'm just going to drop this here. And I'm just going to run this, choose where to start. So I can get the link. Now, why are you being a bad person? Ooh, that's why I think. Yeah, that's why. There you go. Whoops. I'm getting bored of web dev. Boom. Run. Yeah. And then from here, you put the original URL. Oh, usually it works. Sometimes you're not very polite and you don't want to work for me. Yeah, so I'm just trying to get this to update, which is kind of a problem. I'm just going to remove this. Create a link. There we go. Right. This should work now, but podcast, there you go. So this is the URL that you want to use. No, it's this one. And this will bring you to the podcast. And they'll generate a slug for you and boom. So now you have a link. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this and I'm just going to drop it in here. Run this module, boom, just to test it to make sure that the URL is generating. So look, now you have the HTTP, blah, blah, blah. If I copy and paste into browser, boom. And another way of seeing it is if you go to incognito and just drop it in and just see if it works. So it's working, which is perfect. So yeah, ideal. That is ideal, that is. And then what I'm going to have to do is from here, we're going to search for files/folders. So this is how I get the reference for the Twitter, because if I was to put it all into the Whisper API to get a transcription, it would be much too long, and I'd just be burning modules. So I have an uh this is my content folder. So this is just where I store everything in Google Drive. I go to audio and then record it, and then 2024. So I have another video on my channel, basically, of building this kind of system out. So they're interlinked, which makes sense. So so it'll be April here, and I have a few videos here as well, or like folders. And where is getting bored of? Here you go. So this one here. So this is getting bored of web development. I have the uncovering the truth behind web development, and it's just, I have the transcription and I have the summary. So all this stuff, very simple, very, very simple. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to search for modules, search for files/folders inside that folder, because obviously all my folders are inside that folder. Names, content, audio. Oh God, recorded. Oh dear Lord. 2024 audio. Boom. So we're just searching, and then we'll set the limit to actually 12, which makes sense. And yeah, so that's it. Oh, retrieve folders. Oh yeah, you want to retrieve folders. Right. Perfect. So basically what's happened is I've searched inside this folder here looking for any other ones, if that makes sense. So yeah. So if there's any other months, so like May, we're in May currently, all this kind of stuff. And I'm gonna set this variable here, which is I. The reason I do this, well, actually, I'll explain now, but it'll become a bit more uh, prevalent in actually, I'll explain it later. It's actually easier if I just explain it later. Yeah, I'll explain afterwards, because it has a good reason for it existing. So I'm just gonna move this down. Right. Right. I think my OBS cut, so we're back here, which is brilliant. Um, we have just done the router, and basically what I need to check is I'm going to be setting up this to check for this month. Yes, I'm going to be checking for this month. And basically the way this is going to work is I'm going to format the date. So if this month I run the condition of equal to get folder, search for folders drive. Wait, the name of folder. Yes, so we're checking if the name of this folder is equal to, we get the format date option. So where's format date? And we go to get now, and we go MMM. And the reason this is when I run so if I add a module and I say variable, so if I set variable and I take everything I've just done here and I put it in here just to show variable value time, sure. And I run this, it should output May. If it does, yeah, so it'll output May. This basically, the idea behind this is I'm getting this month currently at this like exact day type of stuff, right? And if the name of the Google Drive is equal to this day right now, then yes, then it's not, what's the word? Then we keep going. Oh my God, my brain is like really dancing around. So basically from there, we will search for folders or files inside this Google Drive. And from this, we can actually just map this, which is really nice. So we just map the file ID, super easy. We retrieve a folder with the search of enter a custom search query, and the custom search query will be the title of this. The reason being is the title of the folder and the post you put up should be the exact same. So when this, if the month is the exact same, it'll come up here, put in here, and then if the folder is the same, so we search. So we only continue here if folder is the same. So if the name of this folder is equal to this, that's the only time you go through to search inside this second folder. So if I come into April, so we've searched in here, and if the name of all of these folders is the same of one of them, you search inside here. And from here, the idea is you're searching, and this is quite the program. You find files inside and you search for enter, no, not a custom search query. Empty, you just look for files, right? And basically what you do is when you're inside here, you want to get the Google Doc. So if I get Google Doc, get content of document. And when you run a search query on this, how do I describe it? When you run a search query, if it's a document, it'll come up as this. So this is one of the MIME types. So if you can see in the top corner here, this is a MIME type. So what you do is if type, ooh, I can't type, is equal to doc condition is MIME type is equal to this, that's the only time you'll go through, because Google Drive will come up with two bundles usually, and one is a MP4 and one is a Google Doc, and it'll loop through and get this one, right? And then I go if type is equal to Google Doc, and boom. So now you have the content of the Google Doc. Perfect. And then from here, the idea is you now, this is where the increment function comes in. INC increment function comes in really, really helpful. So the idea behind increment function is if I run this, it'll increase I by 1 every single time. It does not matter. Every single time it'll increase I by 1, right? So if this increases I by 1 whenever it's here, and I've set a variable called I here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here and get variable. So get a variable which is called I. The reason I do this is now when I check here, if I is equal to 0, right, then you continue. If it's not equal to 0, then you don't. So I will get incremented up by 1 here. This is just a way of making sure it doesn't pass on. Okay, and then from here, we're going to run it through an iterator module, which is perfect. So iterator, and every time it goes through, you split text content by new line. Okay. So the way an iterator works, the best way of describing it is you put in the cake, right? And you cut up the cake into 8 different slices, or like 4 different slices. You determine how big the slices are. And from there, you can cut it up into as many little slices as you want and then output it on the other end. So I need to split the content. Yes, okay, so if I come here and get the split function, where is the split function? So if I split, this is a little bit of Cody shenanigans here, but if I get the content of this and split it by new line, where is new line? New line, it will give me 8 modules. So I'll actually just show you, might be easier. The reason I do this is because I only want the summary at the end, and I don't want to use, I don't want to use OpenAI because it gets too expensive, but an iterator makes it extremely cheap if you know how to code. So if I run this module and I drop in the text content, watch, it'll give me one module, right? But it'll come out 8 different times. So uncovering the truth behind the scenes of web development. Where is it here? So that's one, and then new line. So it'll just count as one new line, and then wait, I think it should be alternate titles next. Yeah, so alternate titles, and then this is one new line. This is one new line. This is one new line. And the reason this works is because I formatted it in a way that it'll only segregate out the summary at the very end, right? So it will only segregate out on the summary at the end, right? And then what you do is when you come through the iterator module, I don't know why I put a router here. I'm gonna be honest. I have no idea. Um, yeah, I wouldn't really ask questions, but who knows? If so, when you run this through, the bundles have numbers. So you just if bundle is equal to 10, that's all it is. So if the total number, no, the bundle order position is equal to 10, what? That's not it. 10. That's when you let it through. So the bundle order position will be this one, and this is it. That's the summary. And then of course you add an X module. Uh, you send a post. Where is post? Create a post. There you go. If you want to know how to connect the Twitter main account auth, or like just connect Twitter in general, I have another video somewhere on the channel that goes through how to do that. I'm pretty sure it's the Notion to Twitter one. I just have to like just test my brain there. So yeah, and then we're gonna run through this. I use the model GPT-4 Turbo because this is actually the cheapest of the Turbo, which is very fun, nice of them. And I say, system, you are a helpful, right? And what? Can I spell this? ASSISTANT. Yeah, guys, you didn't see. You did not see that. Right. What was the prompting? It said, oh, yeah, that works too. You are a social media manager. Um, okay, and I gave it examples of how to do it, which is perfectly fine. So your job is to write out a Twitter post for a YouTube video that will be sent to my feed. Keep the tone Spartan, casual, and simple language. Don't use any emojis or hashtags because I absolutely despise them. It just GPT-4 just is a menace for them. And then you keep it under 280 characters, including the URL. Separate the text to make it more readable. You will be provided with a summary for the video. That's what I used. So user, boom. And then afterwards, I trained it on, yeah, so what I did was I trained it on certain ways I wanted it to respond. So here we go. Just built something on make.com that can scrape most websites. If anyone is interested to see, here's the link. Very simple, very, very simple. So you use the assistance one, boom. And then we keep going. Let's see. And then built an automatic Notion brainstorm to Twitter auto poster with make. So all this stuff, very nice. And then the last one is, oh yes, and then you have to actually input what you want. So I actually made this mistake before where I forgot to put the link in. But so the summary will be this value, and then the link will be not that. It will be that. It'll be this. Down my brain, I was like, geez. And then I'll just set like next tokens. So what it looks like is yes. So my brain is like brain farting right now, which is lovely. So if I run this module only, I give it a link, and then I'll just give it a link of just the dry. Where it is? Maybe if I go into my Oh my God. Where is it? Oh, I know it. I'll do a full run through at the end. I'm just gonna give it a random link now, like this RSS app, and I'll run it through at the end. So you drop it in, and it'll send out an output of, in the last 6 to 8 months, I've been at the helm of a web development agency, picking up skills from lead gen to client management. I'm now pivoting my model to focus on automation and advanced coding, ready for new challenges. Here's my journey. Wish to see success in yours. And there's the URL, which isn't actually the URL, but like, bosh. So what's cool is, when I was building this, I realized that a lot of the times when you schedule stuff to post, it doesn't actually happen on the same day that the same month, sorry, that you make the content. So what I did was I rebuilt copy and paste, guys. Jeez. So I rebuilt the program. So everything is the exact same except for one thing, and it's in the center here. Yeah. What did I do? Where did it? Oh, yes, sorry. Yes. What I did was, oh my God, I'm losing my mind here. I think Control C. Why? Oh, it's in the increment tool. Okay, I was like, my brain, Jesus. OpenAI. Oh, and it's because it's missing a router. Oh, and I can remove this. Delete module. Bro, my brain is like farting. Okay, a link. Perfect. So I added a filter here. So not only do we have if the name is equal to the title, which is important. Wait, no. Okay. Damn. So this is not a good luck. This is the third time this damn thing is, but or the second time. But I just tested it and I'll walk through. I was just watching where I was before. So I'm currently, I was setting up the format date option. So shoot. So the condition, you only run through the section when I is equal to 0. And then the second thing is you get the I variable from here. So this is why this is so important when you increment it by 1, because if it's 1, it won't waste all these kind of like functions here. And then the second thing I did was I set up a format date option. No, that doesn't look nice, whatever. I'll just set this back up. So I set up a format date option where if I set a variable, so time, and basically when I was building this, I realized one thing, and it was that when you schedule something to post, it's never actually like sometimes you post at the end of the month and the month isn't the same, which is okay. Like that's just kind of how it works. So the workthrough that I made was you set up a function or like a date format that checks the previous month because all of the files will have kind of like a similar naming convention, which is really useful. So what I did was I did format date, and then inside format date, you add months, and then inside add months, you set the date. Right. This looks like gibberish just to sometimes. But the reason you do this is you want to set date, which is equal to now, and then you set this to 1, so you get the date, which is now. And then what you do is you get the set date, and then you subtract the set date by 1 month, so you get the month before. And you could keep doing this and make it like month 2, maybe like -2 months, depends on how ahead you post stuff. And you format the date on MMMM. Ooh, that's not what you want. So the reason this works is because when you run this module, it'll now get the April month instead of May, because I'm currently in May. And the reason this is good is because I have the naming convention of April here. And so, yeah. So I was just running this through once. Choose where to start. So this is going to be a lot shorter now because I went through a lot of stuff and I had some errors, but I got rid of all the errors. And You love when stuff goes wrong and right at the same time. So look, it runs through, it checks the document, and it'll get the OpenAI post and with all the training. And then look, I spent the last few months running a web dev agency, picking up skills and tackling various challenges. Now it's time to shift. I'm diving into automation and advanced coding, ready for new challenges ahead. Here's the evolution in business. And then this is the link that you should have. And if you drop it in here, look how short it is. This is so useful for Twitter. So when you drop it in, it'll bring you over to this page. You can do this for anything you want, all this, anything you want. So hopefully you enjoyed that. And that's me finished. Oh, actually, before I finish up, I'll show you the YouTube one, which is it's basically like the same thing, but it's like not the same thing at the same time. Ugh. So yeah, let's see. The naming convention. Yeah, so the YouTube one is a lot shorter because I don't need to check because I have a different setup. So this is just a YouTube one. The concept's the exact same. This is my RSS feed for YouTube. The reason being is, um, yeah, so this is an XML sitemap for YouTube. This is how RSS feeds are generated, and this is how it gets updated. Yeah, so this is a whole thing. So like you see, I have my videos of the automatic Notion to Twitter machine, connecting email, all this stuff. And then this is the Google Drive sorter. So yeah, that's me. Perfect. I will see you later then. If you like what you see, subscribe, and I'll see you. Bye.